So what we're going to be doing today is at least starting a draft of a This I Believe essay. And this essay series is actually something that started as a radio broadcast back in the 50s. And then they brought it back like 10 years ago and had it as this radio broadcast where regular people, some of them like teachers and plumbers and that sort of thing, wrote and delivered their essays. And then some of them like Jackie Robinson and Albert Einstein, some famous people, scholars, and that sort of thing. But there's great short essays where regular people express their beliefs. And the thing that draws me to it, I think most students like about it, is the opportunity to express your belief. Usually every time you speak up and you've got, well, I believe in this, or this is what's important to me, somebody's got something to say about it. And in the This I Believe essay, it's like you get to kind of be proud. Just say, this is the thing I believe, and I'm going to share it. I'm going to tell my story a little bit so you understand. And when we do that with the This I Believe essay, it's very important that we listen and we respect different people's beliefs. And you know we're going to come in here and you're going to find somebody that's got beliefs that are very different from yours. It might be religious, it might be about what makes a person successful or what makes a person happy. But it could be that you find somebody that's got beliefs that are really similar to yours, and you don't think you're anything like that person. So it's neat to see the different ideas and to value the different ideas that come out in the classroom. And before we go far with it, I'm going to play one for you. In the front of your folder, the first, and there are actually two. I'm going to ask you guys to vote. Will you vote if I ask you to vote? You got two of them. We're going to pick just one. One is about brutality, about violence. The other one is about failure. So who wants to hear the one about brutality? Will you just raise your hand? How about failure? More say failure. This one's really interesting. It's by John Carroll. Hopefully I can get this one up. I got the other one up real fast. All right. I'm going to ask you to follow along with me and take your caps off your highlighters, if you would. While we listen and you read along, I'm going to ask you to look for any time the author, John Carroll, talks about his belief, the thing that he believes in. Because he's not just going to say it once, he's going to kind of dig into it a little bit as he goes. Any time that he kind of says something about what it is he believes, about his big idea about failure, I'll help you find one. At the end of his first paragraph, he ends, I believe in the power of failure. There's a really obvious one. And so we'll be looking for more of those as we go.
This I Believe on Love is now available at bookstores everywhere.
Commercial.
On our website at thisibelieve.org/shop.
People often rely on personal beliefs that help them
Introduction.
to goals. They want to be better people, to serve others, to live successfully. But John Carroll's belief is not so much concerned with success. In fact, quite the opposite. Here he is with his essay for This I Believe.
Last week, my granddaughter started kindergarten, and as is conventional, I wished her success. I was lying. What I actually wish for her is failure. I believe in the power of failure. Success is boring. Success is proving that you can do something that you already know you can do, or doing something correctly for the first time, which can often be a problematical victory. First-time success is usually a fluke. First-time failure, by contrast, is expected. It is the natural order of things. Failure is how we learn. I have been told of an African phrase describing a good cook as she who has broken many pots. If you spend enough time in the kitchen to have broken a lot of pots, probably you know a fair amount about cooking. I once had a late dinner with a group of chefs, and they spent time comparing knife wounds and burn scars. They knew how much credibility their failures gave them. I earn my living by writing a daily newspaper column. Each week I am aware that one column is going to be the worst column of the week. I don't set out to write it. I try my best every day. Still, every week, one column is inferior to all the others, sometimes spectacularly so. I have learned to cherish that column. A successful column usually means I am treading on familiar ground, going with the tricks that work, preaching to the choir, or dressing up popular sentiments in fancy words. Often in my inferior columns, I am trying to pull off something I've never done before, something I'm not even sure can be done. My younger daughter is a trapeze artist. She spent 3 years putting together an act. She did it successfully for a decade with the Cirque du Soleil. There was no reason for her to change the act, but she did anyway. She said she was no longer learning anything new, and she was bored, and if she was bored, there was no point in subjecting her body to all that stress. So she changed the act. She risked failure and profound public embarrassment in order to feed her soul. And if she can do that 15 feet in the air, we should all be able to do it. My granddaughter is a perfectionist, probably too much one. She will feel her failures, and I will want to comfort her. But I will also, I hope, remind her of what she's learned and how she can do whatever it is better next time. I probably won't tell her that failure is a good thing, because that's not a lesson you can learn when you're 5. I hope I can tell her, though, that it's not the end of the world. Indeed, with luck, it is the beginning.
John Carroll, with his essay for this, I believe. Over 15,000 of you have now submitted essays for our series, and we have just made all of them available.
All right, so this essay was about failure, such a weird thing. Who's he talking about at the beginning? What person who's very important to him? His granddaughter. Yeah, so that's kind of surprising, actually. What were some of the statements about belief? I shared the first one. I believe in the power of failure. What other things did he say specifically about his belief in failure?
Failure is how we learn.
Awesome. Failure is how we learn, down there in the 3rd paragraph. What else did he say about failure? What other beliefs? Go ahead.
How much credibility their failures gave them.
Say it again, I'm sorry.
How much credibility their failures gave them.
Good, good. How much credibility their failures gave them. Failure gives you credibility. Weird notion, yeah. Go ahead.
First time failure, by contrast, is expected. It's a natural order.
Good, good. I missed that completely. Very good. Any other ones? Any toward the end? In the next to last paragraph, I highlighted, and if she can do that 15 feet in the air, we should all be able to do it, which is maybe a little bit more specific to his younger daughter, but the idea that we should all be able to risk failure. Think about somebody like Tony Hawk. You guys know who Tony Hawk is? The greatest skateboarder who's ever lived, and all. Think about how many times somebody like that failed over and over and over again, only to be great. So I love this essay, and I love the idea of it. But what I particularly like is that it sets us up to kind of do this I believe essay. So before you leave today, you're going to be doing at least a draft and sharing with a couple of classmates at least a partial draft of an essay about your beliefs. Certainly does not have to be about failure. In fact, it can be about anything. And if you don't mind, flip to... I've got my stuff out of order already. There's a sheet that lists a bunch of this I believe topics. It's on the back of the 2nd page. It says publish this I believe topics. So to give you at least an introductory sense of the range of possibilities here, I believe in the sun. These are things that actually got published in the radio series, this I believe. I believe in the sun. I believe all things and all beings are interconnected. I believe in what I learned at the grocery store. I believe in adoption because it will make me the man I want to be, a father. I believe that education has the power to transform a person's life. I believe in settling. I believe that every person deserves respect and that I can learn something new from everyone. Anybody see anything on there that they like so far? That they connect to a little bit? Keep looking. Go ahead.
I believe that education has the power to transform a person's life.
Great. Great. I love it. I mean, I'm sure all your teachers feel the same way. That's a big one for us. I believe in being who I am, not who others want me to be. In 8th grade or whatever, that's a big one. I believe that memory is never lost, even when it seems to be, because it has more to do with the heart than the mind. I believe my soul inspires me to make decisions to diminish pain and increase love in the lives I touch. I believe we have the power to create our own happiness. I believe in the power of tradition. Sometimes there is pain and sorrow, but there is no blame. I believe there is only love. That's from a mother whose daughter had run away and had some pretty severe drug problems, I believe. I believe in listening. This one's weird. I believe in pastrami. Well marbled pastrami, hot, thinly sliced, piled on fresh rye bread with dark mustard and a crisp dill pickle. There's another one that I didn't list here. I believe in barbecue. And I kind of do too. I'm from Pennsylvania originally, but I moved to North Carolina and I became a true believer in barbecue. I believe in mystery and multiplicity, and I believe in the power of failure, which is the one we just read. So those are some other people's topics, and I'm going to give you guys a chance to explore the topics that you might want to write about, which means you've got to come up with your own belief statements. We're going to use a website that's called Scrummy.com, and I'll get you there in just a moment, tell you what to type in. The goal here is to come up with as many I believe statements as you possibly can. Even if you're not sure you believe it, even if you're just playing with the words, put it down. Okay? And what's going to happen on Scrummy.com, you're going to see, I know it's not very clear here, but you're going to see your ideas pop up on the screen, and you're also going to see your classmates' ideas pop up on the screen. There it goes. And when you see your classmates' ideas pop up, it might remind you, it might help you think of something else that you believe. So this is what you're going to see. I put up here a few topics. First one is just, what do you believe? Anything wide open. And then I actually put in one of the things I believe. I believe a son becomes his father. And then, what do you believe about friendship? What do you believe about success, about fear, and about respect? And then what you're going to do is you hit the plus button if you want to add a belief statement anywhere in here. You can hit the plus button. You're going to type in what you believe, and then here, I should show you. It's going to bring this thing up. I believe in, and then you're going to type your name. You can just do like first name, last initial. It's kind of cool. It's going to assign you a color. I'm light blue. It'll just kind of randomly pick one. And all this stuff, if you put the same name in every time, all the stuff you put in will come up in the same color. And we'll all be able to see what you've done. All right. Any questions? Okay, I want as many ideas as possible in the short time that I give you. You're going to go to open up Internet Explorer on your computers. And you can see the website on the board, and I'll say it out loud a couple of times so you can type it in. It's www.scrummy.com. scrumy.com. And a slash, and I believe this.
And teachers administrative, you are welcome to participate as well.
Yeah, if you want to see what students are coming up with and participate with them, you're welcome to. Put in behind the slash, put in I believe this. There you go, you're already up there. And you'll see a couple of things that I put up, and then quickly you'll start seeing your friends as well. So behind the slash there, put I believe this. And you should see what your classmates are putting up there as you go. You might have to push click the refresh button, which is this like double green arrow thing, if you want to see more ideas pop up. Remember, failure is an okay thing here. You can come up with 20 bad ideas as long as you come up with one that you like. And it can be about anything. Your belief statements can be about anything. I've put a few topics like fear and respect and success and friendship up there. But that top one, you can do whatever you want. You'll notice if you hit refresh, you'll notice that I picked one that I moved over to in progress, which is something I'm going to ask you to do in a little bit. I found one that I really liked that somebody else put up there. It kind of made me feel good. So I put it over in progress because that's one that I want somebody to consider actually writing today. That I believe in myself. So you can keep looking at other people's, and if you want to comment on any of your peers' ideas, you can. I believe that anyone can be happy. How much time do you need? Finish? Need a couple more? Take just another minute, and then if you're not done, I'll give you a moment. All right, finish the one you're typing. And then, if you would please hit the little refresh button. What is it? Yeah, there's either a double green arrow or a kind of a circle arrow, and make sure that you can see all the belief statements. What I want you to do is scan through and find one that you really like that one of your classmates put up there, and drag it over to the in progress. And if nobody drags your favorite idea of your own over to in progress, I want you to also drag your own personal favorite of your belief statements into the in progress. Okay, so I dragged one person's over, and I'm also going to drag my personal favorite of mine over to in progress. And those are the ones that we're going to consider actually writing about. I want you to make sure that you have at least one belief statement in that in progress category, whether somebody else dropped it there or you did, because I'm going to ask you to make a decision about what you're going to write about. Even if it's a bad decision, it's an okay decision because you're going to make what you can of it. Even if it's not, if it doesn't turn out perfect, change your mind, that's fine. We'll come up with at least one topic that you can write about. Okay, if you have a topic that you can work with, one of your belief statements that you can work with, I want you to grab your folder and spin around again. And if you don't yet, then try to figure out what your topic's going to be. And when you do have it, spin around. We're going to do the second half of this whole thing in the classroom. I want to make sure that first of all, you know what your topic is that you came up with before you leave. And I also want you to know what you do before, because what we're going to do is get up, walk over to the classroom, find a seat, and start working right away. Let's go back to the essay that we listened to. It was about failure, and we read some of the specific lines about failure and what John Carroll believed about failure and how it leads to success and that sort of thing, how it leads to growth and improvement in our lives. What did John Carroll do to help us understand his ideas about failure? Because initially that seems a really weird thing to say, that he believes in the power of failure. What did he say in that essay that helped us understand what he's talking about? What did he write about?
He was talking about that it's important to fail at like some stuff. It's important in life that you fail some stuff.
Okay. All right. How did he develop that idea? How did he support that idea? Who did he talk about? What specifically did he write about? Say it again. Yeah, that was the example of the African phrase describing a good cook as she who has broken many pots and working in the kitchen, that sort of thing. Good. So that he used that African phrase and elaborated on it to help us understand failure is just experience seen a different way. Good. Good. What else?
Failure is how we learn.
Okay.
If you never fail, then you're always accomplishing things that you do later on fail, you're not going to know how to, react to it.
So who, did he tell any stories or give any examples to back that up or support that idea?
Granddaughter changing her hat.
Yeah, talking about his, the second to last paragraph, his younger daughter who was a trapeze artist, and how she kind of get bored with things, and the only way to make it meaningful to her was to change her act. Very good, very good. Anything else that he talked about? He even talked about himself a little bit. I mean, he was talking about himself, and then he was talking about his family.
His newspaper column.
Yes, his newspaper column. And every week he has one column that is the
worst.
The worst. Yeah. And like, inevitably it's going to happen. One's going to be epic failure. One of them's going to be terrible. Fine. He doesn't try to make it a failure, but that's how it comes out. And he talks about how important that is. It's probably the one he tried something different on, tried something new on. And so what you're seeing there is he had those ideas about failure, but he used his own experiences, his family, and even more importantly, his own life as a writer, to help us understand what he's talking about, to help make sense of it. So that's what you're going to be doing, is coming up with how you want to develop your belief statement. What are the things in your life? If you pick something, for example, about friendship, then what are the things in your life that help you understand that belief, or help other people understand that belief in friendship, about what it means to be a friend or whatever. So for me, I'll give you my example, kind of to talk you through it a little bit. The one that I liked most of my own was, I believe a son becomes his father. Okay, so what I'm going to do, or what I did already, again, made a mess of my stuff. 15 years, still fumbling the same pages. Anyway, I'll just show you on here. You're going to take a little circle map and just use this to brainstorm. In the middle of your circle map, you're going to write your belief statement. So I would write, I believe that a son becomes his father. And then I wrote a bunch of questions around the outside that you can read if you want. Basically, it says, what are the things in your life that help you understand that? What's another way of saying your belief? So, I believe a son becomes his father. There's another way of saying, we, as kids, we grow up and try to emulate our parents. We try to take on the values that they teach us and live them out, and maybe even improve upon them. But I'm also thinking about, okay, so who is my father that I'm trying to be now, that I'm trying to live up to now? My father was really hard work. He was gone when I woke up in the morning every morning on his way to work, and he would come home at 6:30, we'd eat dinner, and then he'd go back to work. Probably because my mom wouldn't let him smoke at the house, and so he was allowed to smoke at work. But he would work, 14, 16 hours a day. That's what he did. I don't value the smoking thing. I'm proud of him for quitting, but I do value that hard work that he taught me. I value that he taught me honesty and integrity. I remember he had these games, video games for the computer. It used to be like MP4 CDs. There was big computer discs that you had to stick in your computer, big giant plastic floppy things called floppy disks. And he had these video games, but they were bootleg. They were taken from somebody else. He hadn't stolen. It was just somebody copied the real thing. And I remember thinking, oh, that's cool, I want to play. And I started to play the game, and my dad said, my friend made those for me, but we're not playing them because we didn't pay for them. And well, that's stupid. We have them, they're here. He said, we didn't pay for them. They don't belong to you. It's like stealing. Oh, that's a terrible thing. So I just remember, I try to live up to who he is. I've got a son. He's 3.5 years old. And so the other way that this statement about, I believe the son becomes his father, is really important to me, is I think about who I am as a father that I want my son to be, and who I am as a father that I don't want my son to be. Like, I can be kind of a hothead. I don't really want my son to be a hothead. I don't want him to have a short fuse, but I do want him to be a reader and somebody who values education. So how do I model that sort of thing for him? So I'm trying to think through what I would write in my big circle here is all the stuff I can think of about my belief statement. Anything goes. Specific details are great. Okay. Who has a question? All right. If you don't have a question, then spin around, Write down your belief statement off your computer screen, the one that you're choosing to work with. Just pick one, write it in the center circle, and then I want you to go quickly over to the other room and start brainstorming all the ideas you can think of. Just trade with somebody near you, that's fine.
Like right over us.
It's largely about having an effect on other people. You're not telling anybody else what to believe, but you are sharing what you believe with the hopes maybe of inspiring positive thoughts in another person, maybe even making somebody laugh or kind of turn their head and say, or whatever it might be. Like, a belief in the power of failure. It's kind of a weird thing. It makes you wonder a little bit. It makes you wonder what's going on. And if you can have that effect on somebody, it's a wonderful, powerful thing. And that's hopefully what we come out of. Think of your audience as classmates, as other students your age, other people your age, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th grade, whatever, who might be inspired by or provoked by or intrigued by any of your ideas, your personal story. Couple of things. We're going to be drafting in just a moment. The last page of your little handout is this, I believe, essay writing instructions. And I don't know that I would say instructions. Maybe that's not the right word. And it's definitely not rules. So let me clarify this very quickly. There really aren't rules with how to do this thing, other than you keep it short and it's about you and your beliefs. Other than that, in terms of like, how do I start? That's up to you. How do I end? That's up to you. How many examples do you use? That's up to you. It might be 1, it might be 7. Can I use metaphors and similes? Yes. Do I have to? Absolutely not. So how you approach it, how you write it, how you organize it is up to you. There really are no rules with that sort of thing. It does tell you, tell a story. Tell your story in particular. How you came to believe what you believe, or why that belief is important to you, or how that belief is played out in your life. It tells you to be brief. You're not going to have time probably to write 500 words. Type double space, that's 2 pages, but you're going to write what you can today. Name your belief. Say it outright. Say it clearly. You've already done that, I think, in the brainstorming for topics. Be positive. Focus on positive things. And it says avoid preaching and editorializing. Don't tell other people what they have to believe. Don't make it a you kind of thing. Or it's your belief. And it doesn't have to be anybody else's. And the last one, be personal. Okay? Make it about you. Be proud of the thing that you have to share with your audience. Okay? I want to give you some time to write, and then hopefully some time to read what you've had a chance to draft. There should be some paper in their folders. Is there paper in your folders?
Yes.
Okay. Grab the paper. Don't worry about rules. Just worry about trying to express what you believe. draw from the ideas that you put into your circle map, and if you didn't have a chance to share them with anybody yet and you want to, then do that.
I believe that education is a key to success. Without education, I cannot go far in life. I want to be a cardiologist, so I know I must have education in life. Education is like a lock. If you let the lock hold you back, you are limited at what you can do. But education is also a key. If you break the lock and turn the key, you will find that life is full of possibilities, and you can go wherever you set your mind.
Didn't get no deep on us.
Awesome. Cheers. Enjoy. Your turn, Michael.
Perseverance, that is one moral in life. If anyone perseveres and tries hard, you can do anything. I believe you can succeed at anything you do. Never give up and you can do anything. I used to never believe it. I thought if I didn't get it at the first or second try, that I'd never get it.
I believe that education is a key to success. One teacher told me that people continue to work hard because they can't take away.
I believe in being myself. When you're just being yourself, then it makes life easier. When I'm being myself, then I don't have to worry about people finding out that I don't or I don't have to tell 30 more lies just to back up one little lie. I've learned in the past that if someone doesn't love you for who you are, then they don't deserve to have a person like you in their life. I have a best friend, and I met a girl, and we started hanging out over time, and I started to be like her to fit in. I almost lost my close best friend because of it. That's far as I got.
My belief is that no one should judge you but God. Why should they have the right to insult you if they don't even know you? You could have been born with a birth defect, and don't laugh.
Sorry, because you always go to that far.
And they think, and then they're insulting you for that. How can you change it? No one knows what you go through. Only God, and only He can decide what to think of you. See, that works for you. I did not think of that.
I just help you think.
Let's talk about that pizza.
Nobody believes in pizza.
I believe. My belief is in pizza. Without pizza, you'd be dead.
I believe you need to have respect to go far in life. When I was little, me and my mom and my dad and my sister went to VA Beach so I was sitting in the pool, and this little kid splashed me in my face. My grandpa told me that I would need to have respect to go far in life. Since I was young, I didn't understand it. It was, as the years passed by, I understand the respect of everything in life.
Thank you so much for doing this and sharing your ideas. I heard a lot of good thoughts, and the thing that strikes me is when you sit here and listen to each other and value what your peers have to say, it helps us. This young lady was writing about respect and how important it is. I think it helps you really learn to respect each other and respect other people and hear other people's ideas even if you don't agree with them. So awesome job, and thank you so much for doing this.